Hello everyone, welcome to the Food is a Conversation Alumni Edition, session 59. So what are these short casual conversations about? We are introducing our ecosystem members who attended any of the educational programs what the Future Food Institute organized so far. Let it be the Food Innovation or the summer schools, or now the Food and Climate Shaper boot camps, what we organize with FAO. Ciao Ilaria,
Ciao.
how are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you for joining me. So let me just quickly do the intro so that everyone understands what are we doing here tonight, and then we go on with your story. So basically, our alumni network is continuously growing. Why is that? Because especially the boot camps, what I just mentioned, they are happening now very regularly. One of the digital versions editions are actually starting this Friday. I'm super excited to welcome the next 30 to 40 members of the Climate Shaper community. So you will hear their stories basically. They are coming here to tell you what was their experience, how did they join the future food ecosystem, how is their local food system, why do they feel they need to take action, and how do they imagine their future. So very nice, fun conversations and good learnings as well from very, very different parts of the world. That's why also the sessions on Thursday are in the morning because we have completely different time zones what we need to obviously accommodate on these sessions. But today, our guest is dialing in from Italy. So we are both in the same time zone. And without me talking too much here, let me hand over to her. And Ilaria, please introduce yourself. Tell us where you're dialing in from and how did you end up on the digital bootcamp last November?
Well, hello everyone. So I'm Ilaria from Turin, from Italy, in the north part of Italy. Yeah, I'm a master's student of food system at the European Institution of Innovation and Technology. And yeah, during the first period of the lockdown, I came in contact with realities of the Future Food Institute because I followed some conferences and meetings. So I knew Sara Roversi and all of his team thanks to this meeting. Then, after my undergraduate degree, I've made a thesis about the true cost of food, and I joined on LinkedIn with Jessina, as alumni from the Future Food Institute, and we had a call, and we spoke about my thesis, but also her experience with this reality. And then, for chance, when I started the master, I came in contact with Lauren, an intern in the Future Food Institute, and so she talked about me all the realities of the digital bootcamp. And yeah, I found very interesting the fact to combine the academic career, so the lesson, and at the same time also the possibility to follow the digital bootcamp online. So stay connected with the people from all around the world and out of the box from the lesson at the university. It was amazing.
I'm very happy to hear. So, if you think through the 4 weeks of boot camp, what do you think were the main learnings and the takeaways? What you learned during this program?
I think that I've learned many things, but yeah, I had the opportunity to apply all of my learning, my academic learning, in a practical way. For example, when we talk about also the Sustainable Development Goals, it's always like theory, ideas, reflections, and in this time with my teamwork during the hackathon, I had the possibility to think about practical solution in the real life. And I experienced it like a teamwork like never before. We are all coordinated. It was very nice. And yeah, I bring with myself also the network thanks to the Future Food Institute and the climate supper. Like I meet this girl called Denise, and he introduced myself in this group called Bias of Transformation. It's like an independent dialogue of the permanent mission of Switzerland, of the United Nations. So with this group of guys with different backgrounds, we are trying to write a manifesto to present to the United Nations in September 2021. So this opened me a big door and a lot of opportunities. With this girl, we are also planning to participate at the Milan Digital Week, the 20th of March. So we're going to speak about the urban city in 2030, which will like the projection and the prediction of the future. So we have many projects in hands. Yeah,
A lot of things on your agenda for this year. Amazing. I think as the UN announced this year should be all about food systems. I think we will see a lot of events and conversations and dialogues running. And I'm very happy to hear that you're also part of one of the independent dialogues. One of your former participants, Ebifa Martino, is also organizing one on the 20th of March, I think, or 22nd.
Yeah, it's like
exactly. Yes, so I'm very, very happy to see that our climate shapers are in action. And it is indeed what you mentioned, the bootcamp is trying to equip the participants with tools to come up with actionable solutions, to engage with their community. And what you just said as an example, that you even met someone on your own climate supper and you didn't only invite people who were already in your network. It is amazing. It's a great example to set for the upcoming batch as well, to get out of their comfort zone and maybe, you know, invite people who they never really enjoyed a meal with. And so on your climate supper, what was the conversation what you were running with your participants? I know we had to do it digitally, and I think your classmates were also dialing in from other cities, right?
Yeah, there was this girl from Switzerland and three of my classmates, and like we spoke about alternative proteins. So we brought to the table like legumes and all the different alternatives to proteins. And like it's a team that is very close to my studies about also the food system. In the next semester in Germany, I will have a focus on the alternative proteins and the structures to like program and study the technological point of view, the agro-engineering of the food system. So I know that there is this focus on alternative proteins.
Very good, very good. So let's talk about this. You have done so many educational programs in this field, right? Because your bachelor was from the University of Gastronomic Sciences. Now you are following a master run by EIT. And then you also participated on different boot camps. So tell me, how do you see the education evolving, and is it now easier to find, you know, conversations and educational material about sustainability, the importance of the food system, the connection between climate change, and how do you see the differences? Are these complementary programs to each other? What is your opinion?
Like I seems addicted to food, but yeah, in the first year in the undergraduate program at the University of Gastronomic Sciences, I have like a systemic approach to food from the humanistic sciences such as anthropology, sociology, and consumer behavior. Always related to food, to the hard sciences, so microbiology, economy, and like I wasn't specialized in any field, and I was supposed to specialize in one field during the master program, but like I choose always programs very polyhedric with different linkages in the food system, because now I'm studying like the food chain and all its aspects at the University of Turin. We have 3 semesters in 3 different universities around Europe. In the first semester in Turin, I've studied like the food safety of the whole value chain from production to consumption. Also related to the antimicrobial resistance between the consumer, the animal welfare. And then at the University of Warsaw, like I'm studying the management and the possibility to build a consumer-centric organization and value chain. So I'm studying marketing and management related to the food system. And like was saying before, in Germany I will study the agroengineering part. So I'm not specializing anymore like in specific fields, but this bring to my mind, to my professional figure, a lot of inputs and stimuli from different subjects. So
And you will clearly know everything about the food system, because that's the importance, right? Like the complexity is like you will have so deep understanding of different parts. So maybe it is actually, I think, an added value in our case. And now it's just the extra skills what you will need to be equipped with, I feel, to make this, valuable, and you can take action, right?
Yeah, it's like a complex system, never and to learn every day, and also like the opportunity to do the digital bootcamp, but also follow this type of organization or the massive online open course give me extra learning, added value, and I can apply what I'm learning at the university also in this field that I perceive that is more real and more practical.
Yeah, I also need to connect back to your thesis. What you mentioned that you also discussed with Jessina, who is one of our alumni as well. So the true cost of food. I know it's very difficult to summarize a thesis, what you have been working on for months, but if to the audience who might not have an understanding what this means, how would you explain the topic, what you wrote your thesis about, and what was your main outcome?
Okay, so the first thing that I can say that the consumer have a big power in its wallet. So he has to perceive what is a cheap food and which is the true cost of food. I made the comparison between like also the organic food that is always a high price and the cheap food. Making like an example of like one apple that costs €3 per kilo, and the other one like €1 per kilo. And I asked to myself how I can like fill this gap. There is €2, where these euros came from. And yeah, I analyze all the condition of the workers in the field, but at the same time the cost of the health that like for example due to incorrect diet, always like cheap, we have an effect in our health, and this reflects to the health system of the state. Also the environmental cost when we produce an industrial food that is cheap, and in a monoculture we have a lot of impacts, negative but also positive, when we produce organic agriculture or like in respect of the environment. All of these different costs are included in the €3. And when we pay an apple €1, we seems to don't pay that €2 to make some convenience, or try to get out of the system, but in the time we will pay these €2. It's like a hard concept, very big.
Yes.
Yeah, and with Justina we talk about also the fair trade certification, because my thesis was focused on the fair trade and how the certification could enhance the work of the worker in the field, for example, of chocolate, palm oil, and coffee. Yeah, also during my discussion, the professor told me, yeah, they asked me, but maybe also the certification is like a tool of the system. And so, yeah.
Yeah. So many questions to ask, right?
Yeah.
So many questions to ask. And I think we need to empower the consumers as well to ask these questions, right?
Yeah.
So do you know what just came to my mind? That maybe you, Gesina, and you need to do a global discovery about that topic for the next batch. We will get back to this. Anyway, we have to go on with our question because I think we could, talk overnight about this. You also did an internship in South America, in Peru before, and you had different experiences in research, fieldwork, and also in a laboratory, if I understood it correctly. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, it was like during my first year of the University of at Gastronomic Sciences. So I was like a little a little student in the first year, and I spent with Valeria, the girl that will join the next boot camp. We stayed 2 months in the Andeans. In the Andean communities, so we work with this team of researchers that they research for a restaurant called the Central. There is also the like the series on Netflix in Chef's Table, and there is this team of research called the Mater Iniziativa, and so we work with the local communities of the Andeans, and we look for botanical herbs and medicinal herbs that are used from these indigenous people in the Andes over thousands of years. And we have done a botanical catalog, ethnobotanical, because we analyze their tradition with these herbs. And at the same time, we work also with a project focused on the potatoes. So there in Peru, there is this big culture about the tubers, the potatoes, but they are like disappearing due to the monoculture. So this restaurant is doing this project to restore the DNA of these tubers that are lost, and to propose them to the restaurant. And they are doing this project with the local communities. So it was amazing. Yeah.
Wow. How much time did you spend there?
Like 2 months, 1 month and a half in the Andes near Cusco, and like the last 10 days in Lima to write articles about our experience and finish the botanical catalog.
Amazing. And so this restaurant, are they still working on this project about biodiversity
Yeah,
restoration? Sorry.
of course, yes, they are working on to propose to the customer of the restaurant the biodiversity of the country. So they are doing this analysis of the different ecosystem of Peru. They are like, for example, starting from the sea. So there is also the culture of fish, and then they move to the desert, to the Inca province, and then the Amazon forest, and to the Sierra, to the Andean country. So we stay in the Andes because they have also a restaurant in the Andes, but it is only developed about the Andean ecosystem. So in the kitchen, in the restaurant, you taste only the foods that you can find in that ecosystem. And it was crazy because when we have lunch in the community of the indigenous people, we taste, like, for example, soups, and then we found when we eat at the Michelin star restaurant, we like found the same taste in different consistency and texture, but the taste was the same, and it was great to find this in a restaurant. It's not completely detached from the ecosystem.
Amazing. It must have been an amazing experience. So I always have one question, what I ask from all of the interview participants, and that's about your preferred food future. And to give to it a twist, you decide. Are you telling me a realistic future, or are you telling me an utopistic future, what you wish we could have if we would not have any barriers? It's up to you. We can talk about both as well.
In my utopistic world, I would like that all the people would have the access to healthy, nutritious, and also affordable food. Not to pay too much euros to get like the best organic food, but have like their local food near them. They should know where the food comes from. In my reality, I would like to challenge consumer business and also the civil society to think about where they are doing when they are going to the supermarket, what lies behind that price. Because I think that today also, I don't know, everything is connected. Maybe I have like this systematic thinking, so I saw the consumer at the middle, and I relate to the food, environment, health, also social issue. So yeah, I challenge everybody to think about it.
Yes. You know, I do like this, and I am one of those who like to trigger these conversations with my friends, even if they are not necessarily in the field, because I think that has this big power. Because we tend to talk about the same issues and solutions with the same people who are already on the same page with us. And we will make a difference when we start opening this conversation to others as well. Now, while we were running a research about nutrition for all, which is related to your future as well. So how do we ensure that everyone gets the right nutrition? We had one participant on a dinner who said, you know, because grocery shopping became so complicated, and you need to, if you really want to know everything about the food, what you are buying, you need to read labels, you have to compare them. So why are we making this experience so damn difficult? And this is something what I think we need to trigger more. So challenge the consumers to ask those questions, but also create those supermarkets or other sort like environments where when I go, I don't need to worry what I buy or pick from the shelf because they will be all done on a way which represent my values.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we can combine our utopistic futures together and then then work towards those.
There is like slow food that is doing like the narrative labeling, and there is all the story about the producer, where it comes from, but I think that is very long. And so how you suggest is better that you enter in a like supermarket, in a shop, and you are safe, comfort of what you are buying. You trust in the shop and in the people that select your products.
Exactly. I mean, slow food definitely did a great job in terms of recognition because now I think whoever sees that little snail on some packaging or anywhere in a restaurant, they know what it represents. So I think they did an amazing job in that sense. And maybe this is what we also need to keep continue doing, and you will just know where to get your food. So, Ilaria, thank you so much. It was so interesting. I was also very interested to hear about the experience you had in Peru. So I learned again a bit more about you. For those who joined us a bit later, don't worry because the entire conversation will be posted on our IGTV right after this conversation. And also you can find the other 58 sessions we have hosted before. And stay tuned because the next one is actually on Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. Central European Time. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ilaria, for being here with me tonight. Have a nice evening. Ciao.
Thank you too.